Usually, actors are told exactly what they have to do, when, and where. However, not all of them actually stick to the script, so it's not uncommon for them to disregard the intended action, act spontaneously, and simply improvise. Nevertheless, or perhaps precisely because of this, many of the moments that deviate from the script end up in the final version of the film. In this video, we'll show you 10 movie moments that weren't supposed to occur the way they did, or that only became what we loved through the actor's improvisation. Remember the scene from the movie The Wolf of Wall Street when Matthew McConaughey, in his role of Mark Hanna, suddenly starts drumming on his chest in a meeting with Jordan Belfort, humming a rather distinctive tune? In fact, this scene was so never part of the script. McConaughey usually uses the technique as an exercise to warm up and as a relaxation technique right before shooting. Leonardo DiCaprio, who plays Jordan Belfort, liked this habit so much that he convinced Martin Scorsese to include it in the film. Although it was not easy for DiCaprio to suppress his laughter, the result of the impromptu performance was a great success and found its way into the final cut of the film. Let's move on to the scene in which Robert De Niro is standing in front of the mirror practicing to draw his gun in the 1976 film Taxi Driver. For this scene, De Niro was not given any exact dialogue by the script. The only task Robert De Niro was given here was to talk to himself in front of the mirror. And so, De Niro improvised and started joking and talking to himself as requested.
I'm standing here. You make the move. You make the move. It's your move.
Meanwhile, this scene and his acting is considered the origin of one of the most quoted lines in movie history.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Then will remember the bar scene in which Joe Pesci in the role of Tommy DeVito in the 1990 mafia classic Goodfellas got into a fight with Henry Hill, played by Ray Liotta. What hardly anyone knows, though, is that Joe Pesci and Ray Liotta improvised this argument and thus the entire scene. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Originally, Pesci told director Martin Scorsese a story from his past casually during the filming of the movie. This story eventually inspired Scorsese to conduct his secret experiment. Only Pesci and his accomplice Liotta were privy to this. The twist is that all of the other actors on the set felt that the fight was real, so the shocked faces were not fake at all, but the real reactions and emotions of the people around them. Brilliant, isn't it? There's hardly a Joker who has remained in most people's minds as much as Heath Ledger's in his Oscar-winning role in The Dark Knight. The role of the Joker leaves a lot of room for dark comedy, as could be seen several times in the film, but which scene is now due to Ledger's own spontaneity. After a wild chase, the Joker was arrested and taken to his cell in the Gotham Police Department. When Detective Jim Gordon, who is played by Gary Oldman and has just risen from the dead, joins them, he's promoted to the post of commissioner amid loud applause from his colleagues. Ledger spontaneously used this scene to join in with his sarcastic clap. Luckily, director Christopher Nolan noticed this reaction, and so it made its way into the final version unplanned, yet very impressively. Not everyone has seen the 1980 film The Shining, but most of you will know the scene where Jack Nicholson, on the hunt for his wife Wendy, breaks through the door with an axe and shouts, "Here's Johnny!" through the hole. What hardly anyone knows, however, is that this wasn't in the script at first. It was all thanks to the creativity of the master actor himself. He borrowed the line from Ed McMahon's introduction of former Tonight Show host Johnny Carson. One thing is for sure, this improvisation has gone down in history, and we thank Stanley Kubrick for giving Nicholson free rein here.
Here's Johnny!
In the opening scene of the greatest mafia classic of all time, 1972's The Godfather, Don Corleone, played by Marlon Brando, is asked for a favor. His speech on the matter is probably known to most of us. However, what few are aware of is that the cat Marlon Brando was holding in his arms during the scene was actually a stray. Francis Ford Coppola, the director, found in the Paramount parking lot at the time, but originally the cat was never in the script. A little fun fact on top, with its purring, the cat drowned some of Brando's dialogue, so most of his line had to be edited in post-production.
You were afraid to be my dad. I didn't want to get into trouble.
When you consider how movies today are thought out and planned down to the smallest detail, you almost miss the spontaneity of such legends as Coppola, don't you? Originally, R. Lee Ermey was supposed to play a merely brief consultant role in the well-known 1987 war drama Full Metal Jacket. But when director Stanley Kubrick saw the demo video of Ermey demonstrating his skills as a drill instructor, he decided to use him for the role of Gunnery Sergeant Hartman instead. Lee Ermey instantly proved that this decision was spot on, as he improvised a large part of the famous incendiary speech at the beginning of the film.
How tall are you, Private?
Sir, 5'9", sir!
5'9". I didn't know they stacked shit that high.
In real life, Lee Ermey actually served in the army for 10 years and fought in Vietnam, an experience that definitely helped him play the role. We've all seen Jaws, the 1975 film in which Roy Scheider, when he saw the great white shark for the first time, said, "You're gonna need a bigger boat."
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
This perfectly understandable and appropriate reaction to seeing a great white shark of this size, however, was not originally in the script at all. Fortunately, Scheider decided to include this sentence, and who knows, maybe this gave the quote the necessary credibility in the end. In the 1998 drama Good Will Hunting, Robin Williams, in his role as Sean McGuire, tells a story to his patient Will Hunting, who is portrayed by Matt Damon. According to the original script, he was supposed to tell a story about how his wife turns off the alarm clock at night, making him late for work. Instead, Williams deviated from the script and improvised a story about how his wife farted in her sleep, once so loudly that it woke up the dog, which in turn woke her up.
You know, she used to fart in her sleep. I'm sorry I shared that with you. One night it was so loud it woke the dog up.
Not only did he make his actor colleague Damon laugh out loud, but the cameraman couldn't help himself either, which can be seen very clearly in the blurred shots. It's probably only thanks to the terrific symbiosis between the two actors and the talent of both that no one called cut, and thus a uniquely profound moment was created. Another world-famous improvisation can be found in the first part of Steven Spielberg's adventure films Indiana Jones: Raiders of the Lost Ark. As Indy's beautiful companion Marion Ravenwood was kidnapped by the Nazis in Cairo, Harrison Ford had to deal with a few opponents, including a swordsman in a black robe. Harrison Ford, however, didn't feel up to the task of a sword fight on set after getting food poisoning. Instead, he spontaneously suggested on the set to simply kill off his opponent with a revolver, which he still had with him. At that time, no one would have believed that this scene would not only come across so brilliantly, but would also provide the other Indiana Jones films with a laugh or two. And there they were, 10 moments in film history that were never planned as such. Now it's up to you, which moment is your favorite, or which improvisation do you still recognize? If you like this video, please share it with your friends. This supports us immensely, and we are already working on the next episode. Promised. If you don't want to miss it, just subscribe to us if you haven't done so yet.